Hello, hello. This is Kyle Whittington, and I am coming at you today live from beautiful and cold Steubenville, Ohio. Today, I just kind of wanted to go over this little miniature documentary that came out last week, published by Drew the Catholic. Obviously, like I'm in this documentary, so this isn't necessarily like a This isn't a I'm going to criticize this or whatever. No, this is I'm pretty excited about it. Drew put in a lot of work on this, and it was just a real good time. I'm going to let some folks trickle in here. I don't know why the Pingcord bot hasn't announced this in my Discord. Which, by the way, if you're not in my Discord, the link is into the description. It's great times, great community. I've heard some people refer to this Discord's community as the fine wine of Discord's communities. So if you're not in, feel free to hop in. Okay, there we go. All right. So, all right, there we go. Slam RN, welcome. Okay, all right, cool. I guess it's just not showing up on my end that you are here. So cool. Well, even if you're the only one here, we can go ahead and get started. Is audio coming in good? I did not check that before I came in, so but it should be coming from the correct. Yeah, it's coming from the right spot at least, so that's good. So anyway, yeah, long story short, Creator Conference went off really well. We got a lot of good footage from lots of people. Dr. Alan Harrelson, Noah Braden, and then, we got some good footage from the Catholic Answers Conference. It was a really, really good time. So, hey, all right, so cool. We have all 5 of my fans here, all 5 of the best fans. So if you are not currently among these 5, you are a lesser fan. Anyway. So this is just going to be kind of like, I guess, like a behind the scenes commentary, like a director's cut kind of thing. Not that I was the director. Executive producer, sure, but not a director. But anyway, let's just get started.
Technology has fundamentally transformed the human.
So I just want to point out, these are Drew's friends, all of them. These this first guy, Steven here, he's in my Discord server. He's I won't dox which one he is, but he was also a huge part in getting this thing put together. He was the I won't tell you what the acronym is, but I'll tell you what they stand for. He was our staff logistics and validation executive. So he did everything that didn't really have a title.
Technology has fundamentally transformed the human approach to our condition.
It is radically.
So, okay, Dr. Harrelson, he was kind of an interesting add to the conference. He came here to Steubenville to do like a tobacco blend, and I asked him and I invited him like, hey, why don't you come out to this creator conference? It would be an honor to have you there, have you there as a speaker. That would be great. And, he basically just said like, hey, my schedule's super busy. I got a family. And it's like, you know what? Totally understand. No hard feelings. It was good. It was nice talking to you. So, but then I think after this thing started to kind of blow up a little bit, he emailed me and said, hey, not only am I wanting to come, I'm down for it. I really want to help support. So Alan was a huge part of Dr. Harrelson was a huge part of the success of the entire creator conference. So having him here in the documentary was pretty cool. And yes, I can confirm the accent is real. My wife and I spent a weekend down in Tennessee with his family. And the accent is real.
Shifted our entire way of life as a society. And this has materialized through social media as well as a variety of other digital channels.
Anybody who is leading.
So Noah Braden, also a great guy. He works for the McGrath Institute, if you couldn't tell from his shirt. So he's been I've been working with Noah for a little while, especially through Cross the Tiber. So if you guys are not if you're on the fence, you're investigating Catholicism, you know, check out crossthetibor.org, and yeah, it'd be great. I won't dox him here, but there's a guy in the live chat who's actually part of that right now. So but anyway, yeah.
Lived over the past 30 or 40 years has seen more change technologically than probably since the invention of the print press.
Think 200 years ago, in order to communicate with somebody in England, it would take months to send a letter across a ship. Well, now it's as simple as I pull out my phone and I send a text, and next thing you know, my friend in England is laughing at the cat meme that I just sent him.
I'm not.
Yeah. So whenever Drew gave us these questions to like go over before the interview that he gave, and I don't know about anybody else, but I didn't look at them beforehand, so a lot of these answers were off the cuff. And like, now that I was thinking, shut up, Seth. Shut up, just shut up, Seth. What is it, the Jesus, you derailed my train of thought. Oh yeah, like cat memes. It's kind of like an outdated thing. Like, you know, it's not 2009 anymore. Lol cats aren't really a thing, unless it's like the crying cat reaction or whatever. But anyway, yeah.
Not old enough to remember a time when the digital world and interactions online didn't play a huge part in just how my generation interacts.
I know that it's obvious to see the healthy components. We are able to maintain relationships with people around the world. We're able to learn information. We have information at our fingertips all the time with a smartphone. We're not becoming smarter people.
Yeah. So that comment that he said, that he said about we're not becoming smarter people, and there was a time that I switched over to a dumb phone for a little while, and basically I just wanted to, you know, I guess get away from the smartphone. I couldn't do it because the dumb phone that I had in particular didn't have a calendar, and I kept missing a lot of appointments, and it was just like I can't keep up with this. So, but one thing that I did notice is that whenever I didn't have my smartphone with me, I was able to remember things a lot more. It's really easy to just, I guess, surrender your memory to that box in your pocket. You know, why do I need to remember these things if I can just look it up instantly? And, you know, everybody's been in that conversation where, you know, there seems to be a disagreement, and it's like, oh, you know, how are we going to do this? And, you know, yes, pulling out your phone and looking it up is a valid thing, especially, I guess, if it's something that like you need to get the detail right. But I don't know, like, you guys kind of remember, if you're my age, you remember going back into school and arguing about stupid stuff and trying to figure out who's right, who's wrong. And, you know, we never went to the library or found an encyclopedia to look it up. We never did any of that. We just, you know, we'd argue about it until our faces turned blue, and then we'd just go from there. So anyway, I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence on that. Like, is that better? But I guess the other thing is that, like, the urban legend kind of died because of that. Because used to, you know, you'd tell a story. It's like the fish that you caught that grows 6 inches, you know, every time you tell the story. Well, now, you know, we just do have the record, and, you know, the urban legend just doesn't really take off. And if it does become an urban legend, well, now it's just misinformation. It's not an urban legend anymore. So there's a little bit of mystery that I think that this technology is kind of destroyed. And I think that, I don't know, I'm on the fence of whether or not that's good. But anyway.
As a result of that,
it becomes really information based. And I feel like sometimes there's a danger of becoming disconnected from deeper sources of wisdom and stuck in a kind of digital sphere. And that can be problematic.
That shot that Drew made of whenever Dom was talking about the deeper sources of wisdom, and then switching over to the Bible and the Rosary. Like whenever I saw that first time, I was just like, oof, because that hit me in the gut whenever I first saw that, because it was just, ooh, man. How much time do you spend online? As so much of it's, I hear so many people say like, I don't have time to read the scriptures, I don't have time to read the Bible, I don't have time to pray or anything like that, and yet you spent 13 hours a week on YouTube, or at least that's kind of what I do. But it's funny though. I ever since getting this thing, the Ignatius Catholic Study Bible, it has been fantastic, because I've just been able to, every time I have a question, I just grab that thing and I just crack it open, read it, and it's been a real blessing. So yeah, this is a very artistic shot. Drew is very talented. So Drew the Catholic, while the stuff on his channel might not look high effort and whatnot, you got to remember that like he is a videographer by trade. So this kind of stuff is what he does for a living. Now, obviously, and you can see behind me, you can figure out where this shot was taken. So yeah, after the conference had ended, we all came here to my office because we lost access to the St. Paul Center, and we just set everything up here so that way Drew could do Dom's interview, which was the very final interview. And I'm really, really happy that we made the effort to do that, because Dom had some of the most killer moments of this entire thing. So anyway.
Social media algorithms are designed in a sense to create loops of content. So effectively, by your initial decision, you are sent on a loop in which you continue to be fed the same type of content that you engaged with.
Yeah. So, Noah's talking about the algorithms here. It's brutal. You want to try to create good content. You want to try to create something that's good, but it seems that the high effort and good stuff doesn't perform very well. Drew published this thing after putting so many hours of work into it, and it's gotten roughly about 1,000 views now, which, by the way, like if you guys haven't seen this on Drew's channel, head over there after this, or even right now. I don't care if you click off of this one. Head over there right now and make sure to leave a comment. Let him know what you think. If you liked it, let him know that. If you didn't, if you have some criticism, let him know that too. But no, the algorithm's very brutal, because I've noticed this too, of like, if I see something that catches my eye, like a video game thing or whatever, and I'll kind of go on a mini binge of that kind of content. Well, then now for the next week, that's all the content that YouTube is going to be recommending to me. X is going to be like way worse than that. So, the moment that it's so funny, because like my timeline is littered with Lutherans, because like I've interacted with some Lutherans on there, and they seem to be one of the more chill or sects out there. And it's so now I think X thinks that I'm a Lutheran just because I talk to Lutherans a lot. So, but yeah, that feedback loop is pretty vicious, and I think it's important to identify that, because if that's happening to you and you want to break out of that, be more intentional about it. You can either train your algorithm by finding the stuff that you really, really, really want to do. This is stuff that your intellect can like override your base desires. You can do that. And then sometimes you can go in and like change the settings of like, hey, I don't want to see this anymore or whatever. So just depending on the platform, that's a possibility.
Being caught, trapped in these cycles, which become self-perpetuating echo chambers.
I think it can be very harmful at times when we're not interacting on a face-to-face basis with people, because it encourages us almost to be uncharitable. What are the bad guys?
Yeah. So, this wasn't terribly clear in the documentary, and like looking back on it now, I think this might be one of my criticisms of it. Is one of the reasons why we did the creator conference was because we wanted to get Catholic creators together within strangling distance of each other, and just, hey, let's actually talk to each other. Let's forge some real friendships, because if you see somebody online do something, the reaction video type thing is just so rampant. And while reaction videos do have their place, a lot of times they just fuel the fire. You're generating more heat than light, as it were. So, and everybody's got their favorite reactionaries or responders or whoever, whatever you want to call that. And then so, it's kind of funny because like I typically don't watch Protestant content unless it's through the filter of Trent Horn, because like I really don't need to know what the Protestants have to say anything, but I do want to know what the responses to some of these things are. Oh, well, thank you, Hank Hill, for showing up. Thanks, Hank. Oh, now taste the meat, not the heat. Okay, hold on, let me back this up because this was like my only good line that I had in this whole thing. What do the bad guys from Halo, G.I. Joe, and Star Wars all have in common? They do not have human faces. Their faces are covered. So because they don't have human faces, they're not humans, which means that you can kill them with impunity by the thousands and you can cheer as you do it. When we're interacting online, it's the same thing. You see the text on the screen, that's not a human, that's a text. Therefore, I can be as evil as I can to it, and it doesn't matter because my stupid animal brain doesn't register that as a human being created in the image and likeness of God.
With the
Sorry, I just didn't want it to freeze on that last one. It's beautiful image of the Sistine Chapel. But anyway, I think you guys aren't a big fan of nudity. But anyway, yeah, pay attention to that because the Halo, G.I. Joe, Star Wars, whatever. If you have these, Lord of the Rings, even the bad guys typically don't have human faces. This is why we have the bad guy or the good guy that's mowing down bad guys by the thousands or whatever. They're always going to be somebody that you're not going to repulse whenever the good guy kills them. You when you're watching Star Wars and you're watching Luke just mow down the stormtroopers or whatever, you really don't care. You're not seeing any faces, you're not seeing any emotions. Deep down, you're not really registering that as a human. And they're the bad guys, they're supposed to die. That's we're supposed to cheer when they die. You don't want to get this like big moral dilemma like whenever the Death Star blows up and it's just like, wow, there were a lot of people on that. They probably had families. Oh, because like you would actually think about, how something tragic like that is, what an absolute wound that would be to that entire culture. So, and then you can even think about like the games like Call of Duty and stuff like that. Typically the bad guys are wearing some sort of armor or they're wearing some face covering or something like that. Pay attention because that's a very intentional choice. It's when you see the faces covered, that's going to be a bad guy that you don't feel any sympathy for when they're killed. So anyway, and my point on that was that when we are engaging online, it's really easy to forget the human because we also have our faces covered. We have our faces covered through the screen. And, I think that it's good for creators to get out from behind their desks, go talk to each other and, just interact face to face. Mike Tyson, what is it? Mike Tyson's like, social media made you guys way too comfortable with being disrespectful and not getting punched in the face for it. And I think that's true. So, what is Call of Duty? It's a video game. Okay. Anyway. Yeah, I keep hitting the space bar to do that and it just brings up that line again. All right.
Advent of all these new technologies, it's almost like we've burst through a new stratosphere. Pope Benedict coined the term digital continent about the internet and how it's a new continent that needs to be evangelized. He's tying it back to when we discovered the New World. and all the challenges that came with that. And those challenges weren't small challenges. I mean, there had to be a lot of thinking, acting, theologizing about how to approach the fact that this entire continent had not received the gospel. The internet's no different. We have to find a way to do that. And the best way to do that, I think, is to be grounded in the tradition of the church, in communion with each other on a common mission to bring the gospel into the new world of the internet.
Yeah. So if we look at the internet as a mission field, right? If we're looking at this as, we're trying to promote the gospel here, I think that's where it becomes acceptable for Christians, Catholics to be engaged here. But if we're thinking of ourselves as missionaries, then we have to conduct ourselves like missionaries. If you're a missionary online, or think that you're going to somewhere in Africa to be a missionary, and you're trying to reach this uncontacted tribe or whatever, and you're trying to bring these souls to Christ. You're not going to show up and you're not going to sneer at their culture. You're not going to show up and demand that they be able to recite 13 articles from the Summa. You're going to start off very, very low and you're going to work your way up from there. Christianity, I mean, the entire story of salvation is you have this this theme of like inviting more and revealing more. So, God revealed himself to us very, very little at a time. And for that reason, you don't, and for the same reason, when we go meet new people who have either, they just don't know the gospel. Let's just say they don't know it, because most of the people who like know it and then left it are also ignorant. So, figure out where their understandings are and then go from there. Okay. And then all of this oriented toward the good of the other, which we want their ultimate good, which is to bring them to Jesus Christ through the church that he established. So
Ever before in history has there been such ease of access to every corner of the world.
Okay, so this was really cool. So this shot was at the Catholic Answers conference. Obviously, if you couldn't tell by Joe Heschmeyer's like outstanding getup. So yeah, I gotta say, okay, you can look at this shot here, and clearly there's a lot of retirees there. I kind of expected that to be like the most of it. It was actually a really good time. So if you're thinking about going to the Catholic Answers conference, I recommend it. It's a really good time.
And as Catholics, we universally are called to evangelize. So whether we are Catholic creators who explicitly and intentionally engage in Catholic apologetics.
Loves Swan Sona. So he is this guy is one of the most brilliant minds on the internet today, which because of that, it'll probably hold him back in terms of his channel's growth. But pray for Swan. Intellectual Catholicism is his channel's name. So go check him out if you haven't already.
Or evangelism.
There's Braden Cook and then some random clown there. No, I'll just say that because he derailed my train of thought earlier. Also, good thing we had your name tag covered there, because otherwise we almost doxed you.
Or just Catholics.
Okay, so you guys don't know this is Chris Easley. Actually, if you're in my server, you probably know exactly who this is. Chris Easley runs the Sea of Grace podcast, and this is Mrs. Ruby. Can't really see her face from this angle, but she and Jonathan Blevins run this pretty cool channel called Is This for Kids? And then she's always doing stuff trying to like get you to she's always trying to get you to like donate to stuff. So it's a great time. So, but let's see here. What are we doing? Drew, hey buddy. I'm reacting to your video. But anyway, so yeah, Mrs. Ruby, she's great. And then
who create content. And
so, obviously I was talking like this whole time. There's this guy here, his name's Sam. I don't know if he like has his full name out publicly, so I won't say it. But Sam, he runs the channel Master Samwise. It's really, really good. And he's very, very Catholic, but he doesn't make explicitly Catholic content, which is that's something that I would like to see more from the Catholic community, because apologetics is a field that we already have a lot of really good people in it. And I don't want to say that like there's no room for new, because you always need fresh blood coming in. But for the most part, it seems to be handled. We need less people. We need fewer talking heads on YouTube, and we need more everyday apologists that can answer the questions to the friends and family and the people that you interact with on a daily basis. That's the entire purpose of watching this content. It's not so that you can be convinced, it's to equip you to be a better evangelist, to be a better apologist yourself. So, but Sam over here, through the channel Master Samwise, he does like media commentary, like videos and movies and whatnot. Like one of the coolest videos that he's ever done is like analyzing the masculinity of Uncle Iroh in Avatar: The Last Airbender. So anyway, but while he doesn't explicitly say that he's Catholic in his videos, when you listen to him, it's just dripping with Catholic values. And I think that's really important for what we're going to do moving forward as Catholics, because, whenever I say, hey, do you want to go see a Catholic movie? 9 times out of 10, like if I just said that, you probably just assumed that the Catholic movie is going to be mediocre, or it's going to be trash. And, the Catholic projects are typically not well funded. So, you can't hire good actors. And it's just like, okay, yeah, The Chosen is a show that has like good production value to it, some good acting and whatnot. But, it's also got some serious financial backing. But I think moving forward, though, as Catholics, we do need to try to drive culture and not just be content to imitate it. And guys like Sam here and people like Katie Ruby, they seem to be at least trying to enter that sphere. Sam's doing very, very well at it. His channel's at over 100,000 subscribers. It's great. So anyway, if you're thinking about getting started and doing some content, that might be a direction that I would encourage you to go in, and not just not just try to do apologetics, or if you are going to try to do apologetics, try to bring something new, try to get something to the table that nobody's talking about, and not just rehashing what you've heard Trent Horn or Joe Heschmeyer talk about.
In some sense, we have a shared call to evangelize, and if evangelism doesn't take place.
Oh, okay. So, let's see if I can get it. Okay. So I gotta brag on Frad here a little bit. It was kind of a miracle that he was able to join. So this all started off with, I knew that he'd coming back from Austria and whatever. So I asked him like, hey, Matt, would you be willing to do a Q&A? Originally, this whole creator conference was supposed to be a weekend with the boys at the Cigar Lounge. I charged $25 a ticket for it, and really that $25 was supposed to just go straight to Chesterton's, because it was just going to be to pay like a month of membership for you. It wasn't going to be a big deal. I didn't want to put a lot of effort into it. And I think I had heard somebody say that they could comfortably fit up to 35 people in the Cigar Lounge. Well, then after I published it and whatever, Matt asked me if he could advertise it for me. And I was just like, oh, sure, Matt, that'd be great. Thanks, man. He's like, yeah, just slap something together, make it an Instagram format, whatever, send it to me and I'll post it on my socials. So super gracious, super, super helpful. And he posted it exactly once, and then the thing completely blew up. Because it was just like Matt's giving the Q&A, which was fantastic because he got a lot of really good information there. And yeah, so at that point, I started getting women to sign up, which was not something that I had really expected. And all of a sudden, finding out now that, Desiree was pregnant at the time. I didn't know this until we met at like the Catholic Answers conference, and it's like, oh, you've got your sixth kid on the way. So like, yeah, we couldn't just have the whole conference in the cigar lounge. That just wasn't going to work. So I knew I needed a different venue, and this is where I started freaking out. And I think I'd heard somebody at the St. Paul Center mention that they were open to the idea of like renting out the St. Paul Center for external events and whatnot. So I decided, you know what, the answer to every question is no until you ask. Let's give it a shot. And I knew the St. Paul Center had a really good reputation for being gracious. I did not realize like how absolutely gracious they would be, though. So I met with them. We talked about it. They were incredibly reasonable, and I think the St. Paul Center, which is obviously, you can tell by the podium that Matt's standing at, it was obviously hosted at the St. Paul Center, and they were a huge part of our success, which is why we are planning on doing it again there next year. So, I guess that, whatever, there's only 12 of you watching. So, keep an eye out for the official announcement, because we are going to be doing it again, and it's going to be bigger and it's going to be better.
And if evangelism doesn't take place in how we communicate in our everyday lives, then evangelism simply won't take place nearly enough.
The early Christians used the Roman roads, right? So that's how the gospel was originally spread all throughout the Western civilization. This is equivalent to the Roman roads, just from what we've seen so far in the brief amount of time that we've had access to this digital content. I totally meant to say digital continent there, but I said digital content, and I suppose it makes sense in the in the context of this. But I absolutely meant to say digital continent. But we had already had like one snafu that we didn't know if we were going to get the audio for this. So that's something like, whatever, I flubbed the speech, so we're just going to let it ride. Okay. If somebody drops a $10 super chat, yes, I'm shamelessly asking for money. If somebody drops a $10 super chat, I will bring Drew on, and he can show the Kyle cut, which is effectively bloopers of just me being me. And if we get that super chat, I'll bring him on and it'll happen. I will preemptively send this to Drew, because it's pretty fun. Well, okay. All right. Well, there. Thank you, Hunter, for that super chat. I will send it to Drew. I don't have the video. But if Drew has it, then has it pulled up. Hopefully he's sitting at his desk. Anyway, all right, Drew, I just sent you the StreamYard link, so hop on, buddy, and we'll get started. In the meantime, give me 10 minutes. Okay, I think I can ramble on for another 10 minutes. So, all right, all right, yeah, Hunter, once again, thank you for this $10 super chat. That's very generous of you. And hopefully my channel and reputation will survive this blooper cut from being shown publicly. Anyway, so early Christians used the Roman roads. Sometimes I think that there's like this purist mentality that sometimes gets in the way of evangelization. You especially see this, and I don't want to call out the trads for the sake of calling out the trads, because the trads are right on, dare I say, the trads are more correct than they are wrong. But one thing that at least I fell into whenever I was more in that camp than I am now, was that, like, if it wasn't perfect, then I didn't want it. YouTube is not a Catholic platform, therefore we shouldn't be on it. And it's like, well, no, YouTube, this is the Roman roads. The Christians didn't build the Roman roads, but we still use them to spread the gospel. Yes, YouTube, for all intents and purposes, is a pagan platform. But that's where the people are. This is where we're going to meet people. So that's why it's important for us to be evangelizing here in this sphere. So, I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't say slave. I said, what did I say? Oh, staffing, logistics, and validation executive. Okay, I should probably get this back up. There we go. People like Matt Fradd and Trent Horn are spreading the message of Catholicism better than a lot of people have in centuries past.
You develop an interest in what somebody else is interested in. Find that point of understanding. Find that level of commonality, that common denominator. Start from that level.
Yeah. So what Alan's saying here is true on many different levels. Because, you know, one thing whenever we're talking apologetics and we're you know, trying to reach people and whatnot, sometimes I feel like it's the focus is more I'm right, you're wrong. And I don't know about you guys, but whenever somebody tries to talk to me like that, I really have no interest in it. It's like, hey, listen, if all you're trying to do is get me to submit to your will, I don't care. You know, I don't know you. I don't respect you. Why would I do that? But whenever we start talking about common ground first, and you know, in apologetics, it might just be like, okay, hey, so we both believe that Jesus Christ is the Son of God, you know, who, you know, came down from heaven, became incarnate of the Holy Spirit, you know, was crucified, died, and was buried. Cool, we can agree on that. Awesome. You know, then you go from there. But Alan's about to give us an example of something that's, I guess, not as amazing, a little bit, I guess, I don't want to say mundane, but that's the word I keep coming back to. A little bit more mundane than that, but it's still a good starting point.
And then move on from there. If somebody wants to smoke a pipe with me and
Okay. So he's talking about like how he reaches people through pipe smoking. You know, a shared interest in pipe smoking is a good way to reach people. And I agree, quite frankly. You know, here in Steubenville, I've got a membership at Chesterton Cigar Lounge. It's a lot of us have been calling it unofficially the Men's Community Center. Not everybody who hangs out there is Catholic. Not all the members are Catholic. We've got Baptists, we've got Orthodox that hang out there. And quite frankly, that's where, if you'll forgive me for getting a little edgy here, whenever I spend time online and I hear online Orthodox talk, I think that Eastern Orthodoxy is by far the most disgusting religion that I've ever encountered. That's just how I feel. Just like by the way that those guys act and the way they treat me and my friends, it's disgusting. And I would want no part of that. But I actually hang out with some Eastern Orthodox people in the real world who do take their faith seriously. They're not like the Greeks who came over and, you know, they just go to divine liturgy because that's just what you do. Whenever I talk to them, oh, now I see the beauty in this. Now I see how, you know, the call to holiness here. And I also see some of what's missing in my understanding and what's missing in my life that I can implement. And while I still don't, I'm not remotely tempted to become Orthodox, I certainly understand it of why someone would. But yeah, so Legate Agrestus is over here saying, yeah, in-person Eastern Orthodox are like infinitely greater than online Orthodox. Yeah. To the point where I think that like online Orthodox and real life Orthodox are might as well be two different things. Now, I did want to point out though, this let's see here, this pipe here that he's got, I actually had that custom ordered for him from Frassati Pipes. So if you remember watching his Pints with Aquinas episode, you know, Matt gave Frassati Pipes a pretty amazing shout out, which Josh, the guy, he's now a student here at Franciscan, so I don't know if he's really making pipes right now, but his store basically just got completely sold out. Like he couldn't keep anything on there. Now, But for this one, I told Josh that it's like, I just want you to make me the best pipe that you can possibly make it unique. And I told him, and like, hey, I'd like to keep it around this price range, but you know, if it goes a little over, I can work with that. So he called this one Morta ore because it's made out of this material called Morta, and it's kind of shaped like a volcano. So he thought it looked like Mordor. So he, so what Morta is it's 10,000-year-old bog oak. So, which is kind of cool if you're a young Earth creationist, because that means that you would assume that this wood here that this pipe is made out of goes back to the foundations of the Earth. If you're not a young Earth creationist, well, then it's still pretty cool because it's 10,000 years old. You know, this this predates, Abraham, or Moses, which is, that by the time, Moses was born, this was already, this was already sitting in a bog somewhere, calcifying and becoming, hardened. So it's pretty cool. And then I can't remember what this piece of the pipe is called, but that right there is actually made out of mammoth tusk. So that also just makes it pretty cool. Anyway, it's a beautiful pipe. It's amazing. And I didn't realize until a later shot that he was actually smoking out of this pipe that night. So let's keep going.
Eventually notices that, yeah, I'm trying to allow my behavior, my actions.
If you don't know, this is Rob Pretzel. He's one of the coolest guys on the planet. But yeah, so Alan here is smoking out of the pipe. And yeah, you're probably getting lost a little bit with me jumping around. If you want to watch this whole thing without pauses, like absolutely go watch the original. So just go search Drew the Catholic. Right now, I'm feeling like I'm a total heel for not just having it linked in the description. I'll make sure I get that fixed before I head home. But yeah.
My speech, everything to reflect my relationship with Christ. People notice that. There's a difference between a person who is supposed to be behaving like a Christian and a person who doesn't care to act like a Christian. Everything you do when you turn the record button on needs to reflect your walk with Christ.
As Catholics, we believe that all communication originally finds its source in God, in the triune God. Communication was never meant to be conducted in isolation. Communication was always meant to be grounded in the divine and oriented toward communion.
Yeah. So I don't know if you guys are noticing like the movement on this, that parallax is, it's just one of those little details that just like make it look a little bit more high quality. But Drew did put a lot of work into that. So I just wanted to kind of call that out a little bit. Mr. Lepanto, that Kyle's shirt in that shot where he's walking with Alan is great. I don't know what you're talking about. It's just a black t-shirt, man.
I believe that there's a one-size-fits-all formula, but I believe that this approach, this incarnational framework, as it were, helps us to make the right decisions and to take the next right step.
So I just want to give some shout outs here. So I'm kind of surprised she's not in the chat right now, but this right here is Vanessa. She runs the channel, that one Catholic girl. She's one of Trent's assistants. This, if you can't tell, is one of Christopher West's sons. I think Thomas is his first name. But yeah, he looks just like his dad, so you can tell. You got Deuterocomical here. This is Drago Dimitrov. And then I think I'm over here. But this is also at the Catholic Answers Conference. One thing that Drew did that was really nice was that he set up a studio for Catholic Answers and all the creators there. And anyway, so if you guys got to see any of those come out, like that's Drew is definitely one of the more behind the scenes guy. But anyway, let's just keep going. And I see Drew, I see you there. I'll get to you here in just a bit.
We're faced with a challenge, right? Pope St. John Paul II said, don't be afraid. And he was speaking to young people. And Pope Benedict said, we're not meant to live a life of comfort, but to do the will of God, to go on a great adventure. And when we're faced with the new situation in the world where everyone is online and when the internet is ubiquitous, then we have a duty to go out into that sphere and evangelize. And this sphere is massive.
Zach from Catholic Answers is one of the greatest human beings on the planet.
the sheer size of it is precisely what prompted Pope Benedict XVI to call it a new digital continent. This continent
Wait a minute. I just realized that Steven is back over here just texting away while you're getting footage.
requires evangelization, and it requires us to be careful in doing so, lest we succumb to its ways. The world
Yeah, Kyle touched one thing when he came. When one thing when we were setting up and he broke it. I didn't break it. I just got something stuck, and then that thing needed to be broken to get out. I didn't break it. Also, who told you could speak?
world has to be conformed to the church, not the church to the world. So when we act in the digital sphere, we cannot be conformed to the algorithms, the ways of the digital sphere. We have to bring something other than the digital sphere to the digital sphere.
Yeah. So what Dom touched on there was super, super important, and something that I think that we lose sight of all the time is that intentionally inflammatory stuff is what engages the algorithm. This is what drives content. Whenever you do something specifically just to embarrass somebody, like add them to the stream without telling them that you did.
As I'm like off camera too, that's
it fuels the algorithms, but it's just like, okay, cool, it's going to promote your content, but you're not actually advancing the kingdom. So yeah, but I don't know, Drew, do you have anything that you want to add on to that?
I don't know what we're doing.
Okay, cool. Well, I don't know, I was just kind of adding on what Dom said about take something from the digital sphere. Hold on.
Such a good line. Dom carries this. Dom and Noah carry this doc on their back. Honestly, that's how I feel about it. But they have a lot of good stuff to say. Can you hear me? Okay.
You're a little quiet, but that might just be
now?
me.
Ooh, there we go. That's probably better.
Yeah.
Is that
Okay.
better?
There we go. Here, I'm just going to announce in my Discord that you're going to be showing the blooper reel, because there's no guarantee that this stream is going to stay up after this.
We can also not do it. We don't have to show it if you want to keep the stream up.
Oh, I don't care.
Okay.
Hunter already paid $10. This is already done better than like everything.
Point, huh?
So
yeah. Let's see.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna just have this go a little bit.
When people begin to write you emails and private messages and handwritten notes telling you that something you said in your video pointed them to Jesus, what better fruit is there? I mean, that is the upper echelon, and that's what I want. That's the only reason I continue to do any social media, is because of the fruit.
That's why it matters, because it works. And maybe some of my actions in a small way might contribute to more souls in heaven at the end of time.
That's what Catholics are called to do. That's the digital continent we're called to transform and lead people present in that space back to the Catholic Church, to the good news of Jesus Christ. And we do that through our work as Catholic content creators.
Particularly if you
Yeah, Alan's "We Aren't Becoming Smarter People" line is begging to be in a Netflix documentary trailer. Yeah.
bro.
Well, and like I won't get into it on this stream, because Drew's got some cool things to say at the very end there. And if you want to listen to that, you should go watch the original. There's some cool stuff going on, but also I just want
20
to
views away from hitting 1K, so everyone here is required to go watch it.
Yeah, you're required to go watch
Even if
it.
you've seen it
So
already.
hold on. Just so many cool people here in this collage. Oh, I didn't. It's no longer on the screen. Never mind. Anyway, Drew, do you have the blooper reel
Kyle.
or the Kyle cut
Yeah, here, the Kyle
pulled
cut.
up?
Let me see how this works. Present, share screen. Share screen.
Thanks, Christian. I appreciate that. It was worth the wait. Well done to Drew the Catholic. Looking forward to the next conference. It's gonna be so lit, man. It's if I don't know. Am I too old to be talking like that?
Okay, I
But-
think I have it up there, but you have to put it.
Yeah,
up.
I gotta add it to the
And then I
stage.
have to make
Okay.
sure-
All right. Can you full screen it?
Yeah, and then let's make sure that the audio works too. Tell me if it doesn't when I hit play real quick.
Nope, no audio.
No audio, huh? Okay. All right, StreamYard. Let's go to settings. Where would I change that? I've never done this through StreamYard, if you can believe that or not.
I don't know, man.
I don't know how to make it do it. There's no option to.
I mean,
Can I export it and then send it to you?
yeah, sure, you can do that.
Okay, cool. Yeah, here, I'll stop my screen. This should export in like 8 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, if you can even
Kyle.
put it like on a Google Drive and give it to me, I can get it up on the screen.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and save it. Okay, it's rendering. Might take a second.
Not bad for a impromptu stream, but I sent you a polo if you were cool with this, and then I thought like, whatever, I'm just gonna do it.
Oh yeah, we were cutting a Christmas tree down, so I have no idea. I just saw I'm like, oh, Kyle's streaming. Oh, Kyle's watching the doc. What's happening? I don't even know what you're talking about. But,
Yeah,
yeah, it's fine. Okay, cool. You want me just to DM this to you on Discord or?
that'll work.
Okay, let's get it up here. Yeah, that saved super fast, so I named it Kyle Stop. And that is the official name of this thing you're about to
Kyle,
see.
stop, because I was.
Well, let me send that. Oh,
One
dope.
thing that you guys need to know is that while I was doing a lot of this nonsense, Drew didn't have headphones on, so he couldn't hear what I was doing. But the guy that did have the headphones on, Steven, who's the drone who's on the computer or on his phone a lot in the documentary, he had them on and he could hear everything that I was doing.
I could tell you were up to something by looking at you.
Yeah.
Like just looking at you, I was like, Kyle's. Well, the thing about Kyle, if you know Kyle, if given the opportunity, he will do something like this. That's all I'll say.
Wait, what are we here for?
Okay, hold on. Let's see here.
I was gonna say maybe don't dox the rest of our Discord conversation if you don't have to.
I'm working on it.
Save it to the desktop before people see the memes that we share. Now they're gonna want to know, but most of them are posted in his server anyway. So
Let's see here.
sorry, I'm just eating ice cream with espresso on it because I'm tired and it sounded yummy. So I'll mute my
dang
mic
it.
while I do that.
Okay. Now that. Let's do
Yeah,
that.
it's a cool idea though. We could do a stream too, like a BTS stream. You know what we should do? We should do a stream with you and me and some of the interviewees and just talk about it.
Yeah,
Fun.
maybe like add some thoughts that maybe we couldn't get into. For
And
that.
I would
Okay.
love. Well, I won't spoil what I say at the end, but I'd love to turn this into a full doc someday. I think it
Yeah.
feels more like a trailer for one than like a full, full thing.
All right. Do you see any like incriminating stuff there?
I don't see anything now.
Okay, cool. All right. So here's the I'm just gonna go ahead and make it full screen. So I won't be able to see anything. So if you see any comments, read them out.
Let me pull those up.
All right. Can you still see it?
Looks
Okay.
good.
Wait, what are we here for?
Glasses are so dirty.
I'm not getting audio. I'm getting audio through your mic.
Oh, so now we have to like.
So I can't hear you, Kyle.
You can't hear it?
No, can't hear it.
Okay. All right. Well,
Do I need to
I'm gonna-
upload this to YouTube as an unlisted video for this to work?
it maybe.
Because YouTube sound was working great. Here, I'll just upload it real quick. Definitely an unlisted video that will never see the light of day. That's for sure. Except here, apparently. So maybe it should be public.
Well, Hunter, I appreciate your support, buddy, but we're gonna try to. I'm just gonna see if I can do maybe on QuickTime.
That might work. Yeah, try that. If not, I'm uploading it.
So,
Or I'll just do it
remove.
as an unlisted link. And honestly, I'll probably delete it after this. Just so
Probably
that,
delete it after this.
yeah.
All right.
YouTube
So
link
let's
at
see
least.
here. All right. Let me know if there's any sound.
Nope, just coming through your mic again.
Oh,
However,
it's only
you
coming.
got YouTube's sound to play through. I don't get why it wouldn't do that again, but
Yeah, it's insane.
Let's see here. It's uploaded, so I'll just send you the link and we can just do it that way. Monetization off.
Well, in the
And so
meantime,
this- yeah.
I gotta say, you and Cameron, your conversations with Dylan, were freaking phenomenal, both of you.
Thanks, man.
And
I haven't had a chance to watch his full one yet, but so far it seems pretty good. And it was back to back. That's what's crazy. Literally, I actually made him late to Cameron, so he went right into it. He didn't even get a buffer time. I kind of felt bad.
dude, I gotta say, freaking Dylan was an absolute champ.
Yeah, that's a lot to do all at once. And that's like important context. Like if you watch mine and then watch Cameron's, that literally was 4 straight hours for that same person in a row. So it's crazy.
Yeah. It's wild. Okay, all right. I
Maybe
think
that'll work.
I might have it now.
Okay.
All right. So present, share screen, Kyle stop on YouTube. Okay, and add to stage. All right. Hold on, let me move this. All right.
Wait, what are we here for?
Did you get the audio?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
It's a little laggy though, but that might
A little
just be me.
laggy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll just roll with it.
Wait, what are we here for?
Is this the only thing?
Usually people got to pay extra for that. Oh, so now we have to like. Okay, we have to stop the swearing now. Okay.
For him.
Okay. We shouldn't be talking about how we plan to blow up the White House.
Oh, I forgot that was in there.
In Minecraft.
In Minecraft. I know you worked a lot of hours on that replica in Minecraft. I'm gonna make lots of horrible noises.
Here it comes.
Excuse me.
Yeah, so whenever I did that, Steven had his microphones on or his headphones on. Yeah, and he got like it was like I did that just right in his face. So yeah. Also, Drew, you are much quieter than the video. Can you turn your sound up a little bit?
Oh, I haven't even been saying anything.
Out right here.
I'm sorry.
That's a good OnlyFans sound though. That should be your start before the channel.
You might want to stop it before the very last sound you make though.
That's all you hear.
Maybe don't do the last sound. He's gonna do it.
I'll stop that.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe don't do the last sound. That's
I'll stop
killing
that there. Maybe that'll be on Drew's locals if you want to go support him.
Oh boy.
But
If
the
you
thing
want
was
the
like I
link,
just like cleared
I'll
my
send it to
throat
you.
and like Steven, just the look of horror that was on his face whenever I did that. Anyway.
That's fun.
So that's that. I don't know. Chances are we got the 11 people who are live now, and in the future, nobody's actually going to make it this far. Is there anything you want to share with the audience?
That was fun to make, dude. It was fun to make. It was a cool project. I would love to finish that out someday and like start from fresh with some of those same people and have an ending. You know, someone suggested, I think who was it that suggested that we actually get like viewers to be interviewed as well, like people whose faith has been impacted by this work or like converts or whatever. I think that would be a good way to round it out because like one of the things we struggled with, and this is so from a filmmaker's perspective, in the pre-production for this, which was basically non-existent, as I mentioned at the end of the film on my channel, I literally had like a week and a half before the conference where I was actually going like, oh, what could we do? Because I had some thoughts about the stuff that I had been thinking about, and then we got the people. So then it was like, what are we gonna have them talk about? So I had to come up with like, you know, the story, and you know, give questions to them that would prompt them towards that, and all their answers were genuinely theirs, but I kind of like knew them well enough to know where they'd go. But I never had a good ending in pre-production, and I only had a week and a half to figure it out. And I was like, well, we'll figure that out. And you can totally tell that in watching it, that the ending, there's not like there's like a soft call to action, but not like a resolute ending. And I feel like getting the fruit that Alan talks about and you talk about to be shown would be a good ending, maybe, or a good way to kind of round that corner. So maybe we'll have to do it again from scratch and get more B-roll and plan it in advance. Because that's the other thing. I was just going to film these people at the conference, right? And see what we made. And then it was like, oh, this is kind of better than I expected, actually. It's not like the best thing ever, but it's better than I expected. So we should spend some time getting extra shots and stuff, which we did. And that's why we went to the Catholic Answers Conference to get those. And that was really, really important to it as well, I think. So, yeah. It was kind of fun for like shoestringing it, flying by the seat of our pants. I think it came out pretty good.
Yeah, no, City of the Immaculata. I see you saying creator conference. Interesting. Yeah, so we hosted a Catholic creator conference here in Steubenville this year. We're going to be doing it again next year. Actually, we're meeting with the St. Paul Center next week?
I think next week, yeah.
So to talk details, and after that we can start making official announcements.
Then
yeah, so City of the Immaculata. This is the first time I've heard of you. If with a name like that kind of makes me think that you're also a creator. So if you're interested, we'll have an application up. The way that's generally going to work is it's not just like a simple like conference registration. We want people to apply for it. In general, I'm looking for people who are already established creators. I'm not discriminating based upon channel size. In fact, some of the best value that we had at the creator conference was from our smaller creators. We did have the guys that had like the 6-figure subscriber counts, well, and I also don't want to like downplay Desiree's value because like that woman is an absolute firecracker and I hope she's able to make it again next year. But like some of the guys that had the smaller channels like really added a lot and it was more fun because they were there. So if you're a creator, I want you to be already basically the rule of thumb that I had this year, and we're going to have to change this, was that you already needed to be a creator before you had the chance to hear about this. Yeah. Obviously, if this is going to be an annual thing, that can't continue as a criteria.
Before the application opens, likely. Like you can't be like, oh, I applied and then started making content. It's got to be before the application opens. Yeah.
So... and we want to see that you're actually like putting effort into your content. If you're just like a dude yelling into your phone and saying, hey, look, I'm a creator. It's like, well, maybe I'd like to see a little bit more. I don't know exactly what I'm looking for, but it's kind of like, I know it when I see it. So, if you've been uploading content, you're trying to get better at this, if there's some skills that you would like to learn, even if it's like, lighting, which Drew can tell you everything that I'm doing wrong with my lighting right now. So, that
looks pretty good for what you've got.
Yeah. So,
the problem is just that thing in the middle, right behind your microphone.
Oh yeah. Well, I often get told that all my problems exist between my keyboard and chair. So, which at right now this is the microphone. But anyway, but yeah. So, come hang out. Whether or not you think that you're going to keep doing this forever. This is a good community to be a part of. As Catholics, we should be more united than any other group on the planet. And the fact that we're not right now is quite frankly embarrassing. And I would like to see that get resolved. So, if you're a content creator, it'll be in Steubenville, Ohio. I'll hold off on announcing the dates right now. So stay tuned. Make sure you're subscribed to my channel. Make sure you're subscribed to Drew's channel. Whenever we finally get some real details, my intention is that you're not going to be able to go anywhere on the Catholic media space or Catholic social media without hearing all about it. So, we've got some pretty exciting speakers, exciting workshops, already lined up, and we are going to, we're going to do it up big. So, and I think Haley's going to be there. So Haley Luya, if you guys have wanted to, if any creators want to meet the mom of Catholic YouTube, we'll finally all be able to get a hug from her or something, within safe space guidelines, diocesan guidelines. But anyway, this stream is a disaster. I'm just gonna end it. This is